What is going on, everybody, man? Happy Tuesday. Welcome
Amen.
to the Nashville Caveman Show. This is Damo Unleashed, and I'm here with my partner, man, a buddy of mine. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? It's Sky Black. Man, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Damo, for doing this. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, my friend. I just couldn't find the people who were dedicated to do it, but God is good. So, let's get started.
Man, most definitely, man. Before we go ahead and while we get ready to get this show started, we want to go ahead and plug in. I want y'all to check out www.offtopradio.com. Sky, tell them when they go to that link what they will be getting when they actually get there.
Well, when you get there, you'll see all the artists that I play. You'll see some of their music videos. You can leave comments. You can even request the music that you want to hear. It'll give you an email the way you can send your music MP3 or MP4 to get played. Because our job here at Off Top Records, or that the subsidiary Off Top Radio, is to play music that for folks who has a hard time getting played on radio stations. Because you have these people called gatekeepers, and you have to go through a lot of red tape for artists, good artists anyway, to get their music played on anything. So we started this radio station. I used to be a DJ at 88.3 FM in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And when I left there, I said, you know what? All the information that I learned from there, I'm going to carry it here, start my own station. I'm a DJ. I have another DJ named Michael Anderson. His is a hard hitter radio ENT. And man, if you have any music that you would like to get played, submit it to us.
All right, and then you also have www.offtoprecords.net.
That is my
So
streaming
explain to
service.
people what that is.
Yes, so it's like iTunes or Tidal. The artists that I play. So not only do I play your music on the radio, I stream it on this on offtoprecords.net so people can come listen to it, the clean version, the explicit version, download it, pay for it. So yeah, so it's like that. So I'm gonna play your music, and then I'm gonna give people a place to go and be able to purchase your music.
All right, and I also want to let the people know if you have a small business, you have an event,
Yes,
you have a product or brand or anything that you would like to advertise. The purpose of this podcast is to create affordable advertising.
yes.
And so if you guys want to contact me, email me at souldrivenllc@gmail.com. Advertising is just $10 for 30 days.
Amen.
You can't find advertising like that anywhere. So again, if you want to reach out to me via my email, so driven drivenllc @gmail.com.
Right.
Again, that is $10 advertising for 30 days. If you look to the left of me or of us, you'll see the continual rotation of advertising.
Hmm.
And that's what we want to do. If you want to give a birthday shout out, if you want to give an anniversary shout out or anything like that, send me that to an email also. If you would like to donate to the show, you can donate via Cash App. That's the $ Soul Driven LLC.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here, man. The topic that we're going to talk about today is street codes that need to change
God.
in order for the black community to improve.
Great.
And there are a lot of them, but we're going to go back and forth. Sky, do you have any of them that you want to address right now? Something that you see and you like, okay, this need to change.
Well, let me first start with this. So a lot of people know an artist named Styles P from the Locks, right? And he
Right,
was sitting there on YouTube and he was saying, hey, there's a difference between the streets and civilians, right? So if you see
right,
somebody in the streets and civilians, don't hold a civilian to the same codes that you hold a street, right? So if there's a black guy on the streets and he sees something happen, his code is not to snitch, right? If there's an old
right.
lady who's never been in the streets, 80 years old, sitting on her porch and see an incident, she's going to tell the police. She's going to snitch because she doesn't live by the street code. So you in the
Of
streets
course.
can't get mad at her because she told on something that she saw because she don't live by the street code. So my point is this: I'm from Edge Hill, right? Nashville, Tennessee, South Nashville, right? My house
Okay.
where I live, I was in walking distance of the projects, the miners, the village, and Vine Hill. I don't know if you know where those are at, Damo, but I was in walking distance of those. Even though my address was not physically in the projects, in the bricks, I was close enough to where I had to live by those codes because I was just a 5 minute walk. So if I saw something, I had to live by the don't snitch code, even though I was not in the streets. So I'm trying to. So if we're going to have codes for people to live by, then there needs to be something written about who follows those codes and who don't. Because I've seen innocent people get hurt for following codes that they didn't even know existed. Can you believe that? These are just
You know,
people who don't know nothing about the streets, but because of where they live, if they tell, they get hurt. But if you in the
right.
streets, then I understand that you live by that code. So that's one of the codes, that no snitching code. I think kind of if we're going to live by it, somebody needs to print out something that I can read to let me know who lives by it and what the rules are. And this way, a lot of folks will understand and say, hey, I'm not in the streets. I don't have to live by that. If I see something, I'm going to let the police know what I saw. I'm in the streets. If I see something, I live by this code. So the no snitching code is one of the ones that still is ambiguous to me.
You know what? As I said last week, I'm gonna snitch. If you do anything in my community to devalue my community, right?
Right,
I'm telling on you.
right,
If I see you breaking in the car, you might be breaking in my neighbor 2 streets down or 2 houses down. You might be breaking in their car 2 days ago, but next week you may be breaking in my car. So you know what I'm gonna do?
what's that?
I'm gonna snitch.
Right,
I'm gonna snitch on you. I'm gonna tattletale on you. I praise tattletales.
right,
You know, because let me tell you here, the one code I despise the most is the no snitching code.
right.
And I'm gonna tell you why I really dislike the no snitching code. We love the gossip.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we love to do in our community is gossip.
That's
We're great at gossip,
correct.
right? But y'all gossip about nonsense, things that have no bearing on anything, things that's really somebody else's business, right?
Right.
That don't have no effect on you or your loved ones at all. But then, and I've been through this situation because I had a dude that in the last neighborhood I lived in couldn't wait to run up and tell me what was going on in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care because I wasn't out in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't care what was going on. Once I got home, I was in my house. But then when my car got broken into, nobody seen nothing. Y'all ain't seen nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know what's going on. You know, and the worst part about it is, you know, when you got an idea if it was a specific person that broke in your car,
Mm-hmm.
because usually for the most part, you know who was in and out of your neighborhood, right?
Right.
But when you see a new face all of a sudden, and then somebody's car get broke into, and then you know, man, you never see that person again,
Right.
that give you everything you need to know.
Right. Right. Well, let me ask you a question, Damon. What do you think about these neighborhoods that got the watch times? What do they call them? Neighborhood watches, right? So if I pull into a neighborhood or a sub community and the big sign says neighborhood watch, you know, with the little person with the little glasses on, that lets me know everybody in the neighborhood is gonna snitch, right? So
Of
the no
course.
snitching code does not work in that neighborhood.
Of course. And you think, who is the no snitching code protect? Is it protecting law abiding citizens?
No, it's just the criminal, the one that's doing the crime, basically.
So I'm happy. I'm with Charleston White. This is why I'm a big fan of CW,
Mm-hmm.
is because that dude makes it known that he gonna snitch on, right?
Right.
And if you doing anything, like the people that I'm somebody that have me and you are somebody who probably have an issue with snitches because we own our homes.
Right.
So when you do something in our neighborhood, it devalues our home.
That's right.
And so I got a problem with if your behavior affects anything that I got going on, especially when it comes to money, man, I'ma tell yo, I can't wait to tell. I'ma be there with my phone. The best thing they came out with was cell phones. Cause I'm right there in your face with it. I'm in your face, right there. You know, like them old news reports. That's why I like. That's you know what. To my white tea people, that's why what I love about y'all, cause y'all nosy. I love me somebody nosy. Long as you nosy when I need you to be nosy.
Right.
Cause I'm only gonna let you see what I want you to see.
That's right. That's absolutely right. It's like the old women in the neighborhood that raised me. They were some of the most nosiest people you would ever see. And so a lot of stuff as kids we couldn't get away with. We could not get away with.
Love
seen it, trust me.
You know what? They you know, them the champion, them the Hall of Fame snitches.
Yeah, oh yeah.
By the Hall of Fame snitches, them the ones that when somebody pull up to your house and they be like, there was a 6-foot man, BLAK man that had a package that worked for UPS at your door at 12:07, and he was at the side door wearing white tee Nikes and.
You right. Hey, they was down to a T, boy. Down they gossip. They knew everything. Nothing got past them. Nothing.
Man, they knew how long your fingernails was. They knew your height, your weight. They could tell the size of the inches on your neck.
Everything, you know, and if you had lineage, they could tell you who your mama was, auntie is, you know, who your grandfather was, you know, all that stuff, man. That you know, them days, boy, them big mama days are just leaving us, you know.
I love them snitches. Where are them grandmamas at? Where are them snitches at?
And see, and then one thing about snitching, especially let's just say if we're just in the bricks, if we're in the project, it's cool not to snitch until it happens to you. That's
of course.
That's the part I get it. So if I see Ray shoot somebody, I ain't gonna tell. But if Ray shot my son, one of y'all better tell. See what I'm saying? It's okay until it happens to you.
Exactly. Yeah. We see that all the time. Like, you don't snitch until it's one of your family members.
There you go.
Now, if it happened to one of your family members, somebody come forward. But then, man, if it wasn't one of your family members, you better not tell.
Yeah, stay out of that. Yeah. So sometimes people talk out of both sides of their mouth.
Man, it's just the same way as I give you an example. You know what I'm saying? It's forget the F the police until it's somebody breaking in your stuff or somebody trying to cause you harm. Now you want to call.
That's absolutely correct. That is correct. And it's like that in my old neighborhood. Talking about some F the police. And then next thing you know, somebody there with a pistol in your mouth, then you hoping the police is around, you know? Or you beating with somebody and you scared to go to the store, you hoping there's a cop somewhere, you know? Like, man, it's just crazy, man.
So that's one of them. They need to, you right. You are absolutely right. They need to get rid of the no snitch code. Or at least, if you're going to have some rules on it, at least have some common sense rules that go with it. Yeah. You know, and don't do the dirt. If you're doing crime and anybody doing crime, I am not for protecting you. I'm sorry. You're devaluing my neighborhood. You're making it to where small businesses or businesses at all want to go ahead and invest in the neighborhood. Right. I'm going to tell on you. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell. And I'm going to have video proof. I am the neighborhood detective. Don't come by me with all that riffraff. Look at my face. Don't come by me. See this face, because I'm a 10.
Right.
You don't know that.
You know, I ain't gonna never say I was perfect. You know, I did my dirt too. But I was the type of person like this. Let me know up front. Say, hey, Sky, we forgot to do such and such. And if I say, yeah, I'm down, then if I get caught by the police, I ain't snitching because I'm down. But don't say, hey, Sky, we going to the store. And then you stop by the bank and rob it, and then try to speed up. Then now I'm with you. I'm snitching because you didn't tell me what was going on, and I ain't doing jail for you because I was misled. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Because I'm just going to tell you this first and foremost. I'm not doing time for
I
anybody.
don't blame you,
Not
man. No.
anybody. Unless it's in a scenario where I'm,
And
and
you
it's
said,
righteous, it's a righteous
right.
situation. If it's criminal, I'm not doing no decade plus. I'm not doing man 3 days. I'm sorry, because I don't want to be in no building with all
There
males.
you go.
And now, this is a PSA. I'm not gonna go to prison for you. And then when I need some commissary, you don't send me no money for no Debbie snack cakes, no ramen noodles, none. I gotta eat that muck that they serve every day. I ain't doing it. I'm just telling you, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, it ain't worth it. I see people do stupid stuff all the time. I'm like, you going to? If I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna go to jail for stealing tens of millions of dollars. I'm not going to jail because you went into the local store and stole some Doritos and a Pepsi. Like, hey, it doesn't make sense. Go down.
Right, like
And,
you stealing at the Dollar Tree.
yeah,
Like, come on, man, you could have begged for that money to go in and get
you what
that.
you said. You sure
You could have
could.
panhandled for that money.
It makes no sense.
And here's something else, man. Here's something else I would like to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another street code: allowing who we let represent and speak for us.
Yeah.
That is a street code that we need to change.
Mm-hmm.
We are allowing some. Man, I'll give you an example. Like when the elections came around and Cardi was out there speaking on our behalf to JB. That is like, why are we allowing Cardi to speak for the community? We can't find nobody better than Cardi. No intellectual people, somebody with at least a fourth grade education to speak for us on our behalf, especially pertaining to politics.
Maybe Michelle Obama was busy that day, so they went and got her. You know.
I don't know who they could have got anybody. But that's who, I mean, think about some of the people who represent us. Like, if you're going to represent us, right?
Right.
Let me say this. If you're going to represent us, please not look like you're a DRAG. Don't look like you can be confused for one.
That's right. You're right.
I don't have a problem with them. But presentation is very important in representation.
That's right.
Don't be out here having no Wolverine nails on your hands
Right.
representing us.
Right.
And also, if you're going to speak for us, at least be articulate enough
Man, what you said. Oh my.
to speak on what you're speaking on or educate yourself. Like, do some research. And I ain't just talking about watching the news and then that's where you got your information from.
Right.
Remember when we was in school and we had to do a school report, and they always told us that we had to have what when we was doing a report?
Research. You had to cite where you getting your information from. Yes.
You had to have multiple resources.
Right. Multiple. Back up your argument. You're right.
That's why Larry was able to go into the Breakfast Club and annihilate him. Because you can tell. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. He had all type of sites and stuff backing him up, numbers and everything. Very educated man. Very educated.
I haven't seen a whooping like that since the Civil War. You hear me? It's been a long time since I seen a spanking like that. That's why if you're going to represent, you're going to speak for people,
right.
Please do some research. I'm talking about some serious research.
Right. Well, he's a dying breed. It's, Cardi B, Sexy Red, all these women are what I call the TikTok generation. They don't talk in complete sentences no more. They'll say the same thing like. I mean, if I could drink every time I hear them say, well, like, I'll be drunk. It's like they have to think 10 times before they speak. You're not saying things in complete English. And I'm not understanding. I'm not knocking them because of where they came from. I'm just with you. There's a certain place at a certain time for that type of language, and then there's a certain place at a certain time for a Larry's type of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand
Right.
what you're saying.
It's like, I don't know if you've seen the recent video of Snoop, but Snoop getting on a video and calling people, man, uneducated. I don't want to say the words because I'm here on TikTok also, so I don't want them to, shut my video
I
down.
understand.
But he's saying that people aren't smart if they go and re-vote for DT again.
Mhm.
And it's like, dude, why are you speaking for people? You're rich.
Right.
Why are you speaking on who we decide that we're going to back based on anything? Because if I'm going to back any politician, it's going to be based on economics. It's going to be financial. That don't have nothing. You're not donating to my community. I haven't seen you throw a free concert in my community and say all the proceeds are going to this neighborhood.
That's right.
I ain't seen you do that, Snoop.
Right. Well, maybe Snoop is a part of the machine like everybody else, man. It's a lot of these entertainers and rappers and singers. They don't have their own thoughts, man. They're puppets. And every time they take this money, there's always strings attached. So ain't no telling what his agenda was. And half the stuff that he probably don't even mean what he's saying. It's just, again, the money, the strings attached,
And which is funny because it's like, man, and we're still at that point where we still can be bought.
Sure, yeah, man.
We complain about.
I don't think,
say that again.
I don't think there's any more morals in America. I mean, I think it's it. It's money or nothing. That's the only M word anybody cares about nowadays. I was taught to live by some type of principles, morals. I don't care how much money I had, how broke I am. It's just certain things you stand on as a man, as my faith in God. But yeah, most people now, they'll sell you up the river for the right amount of money. I'm telling you.
You know what? And that brings to this point too. As I've gotten older, I'm more careful of who I'm a fan of.
Correct.
I don't think just because we like somebody's talent that we should automatically show them support.
Right.
That's another one. That's another street code. But I'm gonna get back to you. I'm a boomerang it back to you so you can tell us a street code that you think that you would like to see change.
Right. Well, like I said, the snitching part was at the top. Another street code is where you live is who you are associated with, especially in LA. You didn't ask to be in this world. So if I'm born on this block, I'm a Crip. If I'm born 2 blocks down the road, I'm a Blood. How am I coming into this world with no choice? Do you know what I'm saying? I might not even want to be a gangster, but
right,
it is what it is. So again, at least give me the choice. If I choose to be in the streets and choose to be a gangster and want to carry a flag, let me choose which side I want to be on. You can't say because you was born on 42nd and Rolling Streets, now you were rolling 6. I'm like, well, damn, I didn't ask to be here. Hell, my mom and daddy, probably wasn't even in these streets. And then since I'm born here, this is what I have to represent. So that's another street code that kind of, grinds my gears.
I couldn't agree more because it's especially when you're talking about young elementary grade school kids or kids that's in grade school period. I don't care if it's elementary, middle school, or high school.
Right.
Let them, if they didn't ask to be a part of what you got going on, let them be. Let them walk the school. Matter of fact, you should be encouraging them and protecting them while they walk the school.
Correct.
Why would you want to cause them trouble? They probably got enough going on in their life already. Meaning that they're, in a single parent home, living impoverished, wondering if they're going to have a meal in a few hours or if they're going to have a meal period.
Right.
Worried about, man, if they're going to be able to have the roof over their head. Because, a lot of their parents are struggling with rent, bills and keeping electricity on and whatnot, and then you're going to cause them, more trouble on their walk to school or them being in school, harassing them, talk about what set you claim.
That's right.
Let them kids be.
And I'm still trying to understand what they mean, what set. Because last time I checked, every set that you own is owned by the county or the government, which is owned by the white man. So what are you killing each other over? Money is owned by the white man. The streets is owned by the white man. Those houses are owned by the white man. So what are y'all killing each other over?
And it's like they come together and unify for the wrong reasons. I said this before. It's like most of the time, the only time we ever come together is when there's violence involved. Why can't we unify to come together and say, hey, why don't we all get together and we're going to get some trash bags and grabbers and pick up this neighborhood? We're going to cut the grass.
That's right.
Why don't, if we're going to unify and we're, instead of sets, come together for something that's positive.
I agree 100%. Because I mean, if you take the power that the Crips and Bloods and their subsidiaries all have, we could probably vote enough people in office that could make some changes. What kills me is folks that sit at home is like, man, I hate that they cut off my food stamps. Well, hell, you didn't get up and vote for the person who's going to go in there to keep your food stamps going. You can't sit on your butt and then get upset at what the next person is doing that's going to affect you.
Right. I couldn't agree more, man. And then you think about it. A lot of these, where they have sets, they make it to the people in the neighborhood. They feel like they terrorized.
Yeah.
They're afraid to come out the house.
That's right.
Even for the most basic stuff, man. And I couldn't even imagine the women, in certain cities, they go to the store, they're being harassed. It's like, they don't even come together. They don't even use that power to, make the neighborhood safe.
Right.
They use it to really terrorize the neighborhood.
Well,
in the same way that they complain about YT people doing.
Right.
Like the way they complain about YT cops terrorizing the neighborhood, they terrorize the neighborhood in the same exact manner.
You're absolutely correct. And again, I'm still confused on a lot of it because I watched this show on HBO a long time ago called Bastards of the Party. I don't know if you ever saw that or not. It was a documentary. It showed how
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
That a lot of the Bloods and Crips are descendants from a lot of these Black Panther guys.
Okay.
Black Panthers came to protect the neighborhood, and then when the federal government dissolved them, then it left those soldiers up under them without leaders. So this is where the chaos, started to happen. So I'm with you. If they could just get together, protect the neighborhoods, protect the kids, protect the women, get folks out here to vote for the people that's going to help you. Get you an alderman, a state senator, a state representative. I think things would be just much better. But there was one guy in the documentary, 60-something years old, Damo. He might have been a Blood. He had never left his neighborhood because where he was at was a Blood. And literally 4 streets over was his rival, some Crips. And he was scared to go 4 streets over. So
that's crazy.
He only stayed within those 4 streets.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, man. That ain't even living. That's not living.
No, but that was the life he chose once he got out of high school. Yes, that's the life he chose.
Here's another street code that I think that needs to change in order for the Black community to improve. Us supporting and defending others based on race.
Gotcha.
I think we support and defend behavior and people based on because they look like us and they don't represent us.
Right. I seen a young man on YouTube, I can't think of his name. He said there's a lot of Black people in the world and there's a lot of people that look like us, but the United States has something that other countries don't have. We have niggas. And niggas, all they do is sit around and complain and consume. They don't produce anything. They don't help the community or help anything, and they're all about me, 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 me. What do you think about that?
It disgusts me. I'll give you an example. I am bothered when I go inside of a store and I see somebody that looks like us,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's loud and irate and don't and and fit all the stereotypes
Right.
that you hear about us. And then we get upset because people hold us to those
That's
stereotypes,
right.
but then we advertise those same
That's
stereotypes.
right. That's right. Right. So I can't get mad at how other races look at me because of what they've seen prior to seeing me, whether it's on the streets or whether it's on TV.
I can kind of almost sympathize with it
Yeah.
because, man, there's a lot that I look at, and for example, I was having this conversation, man, not even a couple days ago. When my daughters, when they were younger,
Mm-hmm.
I used to take them to a basketball court that was really close by. It was a nice basketball court. The rims weren't bent. The concrete didn't have grass growing up out of it. The typical hood basketball courts that we see. It was actually a nice basketball court. It had nets.
Yep.
A lot of times when we shoot the ball, we don't really know if it go in
That's
or
right.
not
You had
because
no
it ain't no net.
had to make your own sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you hope it hit a part of the rim so you could hear it, but you don't really know,
Right.
you know. And we sitting up there and we hooping because I think that's important,
Right.
man, to get out with the kids, go out and do an outdoors activity. And there was a group of young males that was our
Right.
complexion that was coming down the street. Now I can look at these young males and be like, oh, this is trouble.
Yep.
Because it looked like a group of chaos
Right.
coming down the street.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I did
What's that?
in typical form? I did what white tea people do.
Mm-hmm.
I said, up, get the basketball up, head to the
That's
car.
right. There'll be another day to shoot basketball. You was absolutely correct. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's like you can't go nowhere. You can't enjoy yourself. And I'm not worried about people in white hoods trying to hang me. I'm worried about, like you said, people that look just like me.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And that's just like, and another point of that, when I'm talking about defending others based on race, this is a area that I could speak on when we're having an issue with the cops.
Hmm.
Like if you are out, and I always say this, if you have an encounter with the police and they pull you over, if you're going to make the choice to fight with them on the streets instead of in court, why should I have to back you?
Thank you.
If you're pulling away, if they, like if I've had an encounter with an officer
Hmm.
and I've had a gun pulled out on me with an officer,
Hmm.
that's all I needed to see. Get on the ground. Okay. I'm not fighting with you. You got a weapon and not down. Even if I had the weapon, you're going to be favored in court. So I am going to do the logical, smart thing.
Right.
Do what it is that you ask. But the one thing that we have at our advantage now that we didn't have back then
Hmm.
is video.
That's right.
We have video camcorders.
That's
So with that is my protection.
right.
Why do I need to fight and run my mouth back at you? I ain't trying to get Billy Club. I've seen people to get lumped up. I don't want to get no nightstick. I don't want to get taser. I don't want to get maced. None of that.
Correct.
So I'm not defending you just because we the same color and I got to speak out on your behalf and you was out being ignorant. I ain't doing it.
I get it. I get it. And now here in Wilson County, cops have to wear body cams. So,
Yeah.
so when they pull you over, everything's being recorded. But to piggyback to what you're saying, I'm in a car with somebody. I'm in a car with white people now. I'm on my way to wrestling in Henry, not Henry, Tennessee. It might have been Gleason, Tennessee, and McKenzie. We get pulled over by a state trooper. The girl that's driving is white, right?
Right.
Her boyfriend is in the front seat. I'm in the back seat with their young white child. So I'm the only black guy in the car. The cop was as nice as he could be, but the driver, the girl, mouths off like she's black. I mean, I can tell she's hung around a lot of black folks, but I mean, and her boyfriend's like, "What are you doing? We just trying to get to the show." And I mean, she's just a cussing at her. Why you stop? I mean, all type of stuff. And he's trying his best to hold his composure. And then he looks in the back seat at me, and then looks at the child. It's like, you know what? Let me just go do what I got to do, and bring the driver's license back. But sometimes, even though I always say, well, black people always do this and this, these white folks sometimes that act black bring on the same type of thing. So it just depends on who you in the car with. So my point is, be careful on who you hang around and who you are in the car with, because when you get pulled over, the cops at that point in time have the authority. So just be quiet and listen. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? And to piggyback off of what you're saying, to my YT people, please, you know what?
Mhm.
And that's the reason why, and this is a stat that's out there, you guys actually are killed by cops at a higher rate than us, right?
Mhm.
So when you're with us, don't go running your mouth. If I'm in the car with you, don't run your mouth. I want you to do as I do.
Right.
Yes, officer. Hands on the steering wheel. Don't ask no questions.
Right.
Let your lawyer do all the question asking.
Yeah.
You don't do it for us.
That's right.
Because you might be all right with getting maced, drug out and out of the car, drugged by your hair, but I am not.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? If you ride with me, please have some common sense.
That's right.
All of us don't act like that. Some of us, we are smart when we're dealing with officers. So if you're with us, don't be thinking you hood and you doing something because you with us and we get pulled over by the cops. We need y'all to be smart too.
That is absolutely correct. You was correct about that. And I've been in. I haven't had the situation, but I've had friends that been in cars with other people. Cops pull them over. There's paraphernalia in the car, goods, and nobody wants to claim it. So everybody going to jail. Everybody got to go to jail until they sort it out. I'm thinking, come on now, you gonna tarnish my record because I got in the car with somebody. I have no clue, guns, drugs in the car. I think we just going to the store. You get pulled over.
You know what?
They don't claim it. They ain't gonna listen to Sky Black. I'm in handcuffs too.
And that's why I'm very careful with who I let in my car. Man, there was a time where you could give people rides, but not really.
You was absolutely correct. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know. You let somebody in your car, you don't know if they're going to rob you or not.
That's right.
True. And don't let me be in that car. I'm telling y'all, I know y'all are tired of me repeating this. Don't let me be in the car and some guns, paraphernalia, anything fall out. Because I'm going to point to who it is. Before the cop even asks. The cop ain't even got to ask. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to point to
right there.
I'm going to tell where you got it from, where all your steps. I'm going to map it out for him. I'm right here, right? You want me to sign that stuff?
I don't blame you, man, because you work too hard to get what you got, Damo. God has blessed you and your family and your children, and all it takes is one incident, man, to destroy all of that foundation. That's the world we live in now.
And usually the ones you got to watch out for is family or relatives.
Because they know.
You really got to watch out because they'll really have you on some stuff.
And that's crazy. The most jealous people that are mad at you or they'll smile in your face and pray against you is family. You're right about that. They sure will. Because they wonder why not them.
And here's another street code that I think we need to do, and this kind of goes into that. We need to hold people accountable for their behavior.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, you need to be held accountable
Right.
for your behavior.
That's right.
I don't care if it's at a graduation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give you an example. Why is it that every time we have a graduation, people got to scream and act the dang fool? Like, can't we just go anywhere and be cordial?
Mm-hmm. For some reason, you can't. Everything got to be a concert. Yeah. I was at a graduation one time, and the guy was nice. I guess he might have been the principal or the dean. Please hold your applauses until after the ceremony so other people can hear their children's name being called. The first black person that went across the you thought you got a Beyonce concert. I like, didn't this man just say, please? But, it went in one end after the other.
And you know what? Why we're making a big deal out of graduating high school? That should be something that's very simple. You gotta go to school.
Yeah.
You're forced to go to school. Either that or the county will come get your kids.
Yep.
So you have to go to school.
You got to.
Why can't we celebrate and stuff like that? And you getting a job. You having an 800 credit score.
Correct.
You getting a real degree. I'm talking about, man, you got your master's and your doctorate and all that in a field that you're going to be making six figures. Why can't we celebrate like that? Or why can't we celebrate like that at more weddings? How is it that we celebrate marriages, getting out of prison more than we do somebody getting married?
I agree 100%. I don't know what has going on, man. I don't know. Are we so far down the rabbit hole that, like you said, just graduating is an accomplishment? High school? Are we so far down the rabbit hole that if we can just make it to 18 and walk across stage with that piece of paper, we okay?
Because think about this, right? So we hoop and holler and we act like it's a concert.
Right.
Only for little Jimmy to graduate high school and be at McDonald's for the next 40 years.
Not trying to own McDonald's or become a supervisor or become a lead.
Yeah, not
because them fries for 40 years.
Right, it's slang that bop.
Right.
That's what we getting excited for?
Yep.
For them to graduate and then to come out and sell drugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I become a gang member.
You're right about that. Yeah, you're right.
So why are we hooping and hollering for them to get out of high school and the next year have a kid and then 3 years down the line have 6?
You is right about that. I'm since you talking, you got my mind just wondering, man. I've been seeing this, but it never just slapped me in the face until you just start talking about that. That is absolutely correct.
Because the first thing let's talk about it. The first thing that most of these chicks do when they get out of high school, if they ain't in college, they getting pregnant.
Okay.
In 1 year.
Think about this. So explain this to me, that maybe your listeners can explain this to me too. So we have a scenario, right, where there's a girl who's 25 years old. She has 6 kids, right? Her youngest sister sees that she's struggling by herself with 6 kids. The youngest sister is 16. By the time the youngest sister turns 25, she's struggling with 6 kids. Did you not see your oldest sister not married with 6 baby daddies struggling, and then you turn around and do the same thing like it's cute?
We do it with our parents. We watched. We grew up in a house where you had oatmeal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where a Debbie snack cake was a gourmet good dessert.
What you said.
And then turn around and do the exact same thing.
And I don't get it. I know folks that are generations, and I ain't knocking the projects because there's some good people in it. But that's like a whole nother world. You've never lived in it's a whole nother ecosystem and world. The grandmama been there 40 years, the mama been there 40 years, and then the daughter, she's on her way to be there 40 years.
And that's what I mean by.
So they probably, out of some of them kids, they gonna be there for 40 years.
And you know what? And that's what I mean by us holding people accountable for their behavior.
Right.
I don't think we hold each other accountable for our behavior. Rather it's somewhere that we go, rather it's a award show where people acting like they ain't got no common sense,
Right.
or rather it's, our especially our own family members. Like
Right.
I'm big on this. You
Right.
know, there's nothing wrong with holding your parent accountable. Because
Correct.
most people, the disadvantages that they have and that they have gripes with
Mhm.
stem from their parents. Their
Yeah.
parents making choices, man, that wasn't in the best interest of them or their kids. And holding them accountable, coming back and asking them, well, mama, why do me and my three brothers have 5 different daddies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've lived there firsthand. I seen a woman just barely take care of her kids. She always put the men in her lives first, and then she wonder why her kids don't help her out. Like, because they didn't feel the love growing up. You know what I'm saying? They might come by and say hello, how you doing, but in their mind, you put everything before them. Then yeah, I've seen that firsthand, man. That's crazy.
And here's another street code, man, or something that code in our community that I would love to see change.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when children were out of hand and other people were given permission to address your child
Right.
and at some point even punish your child.
That's right.
But now people allow their kids to get out of hand, and when somebody addresses their children, they have an issue with it. That's my kid. If you got an issue with my kid, then you come to me.
Like in those days though, in the neighborhood I grew up in, you did something wrong, not only would that old lady whoop your butt, you go home and get another butt whooping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when you were out of pocket when we were growing up, you got punished about at least 2 times before your parent even got to you.
That's right. Right. And somewhere
You know,
down the line, somebody said, well, whooping kids is bad for their brains and it's damaging to their bodies. And now all of a sudden, if you go too far, it's child abuse and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, some of these kids' parents did overdo it. But
they go overboard.
not all of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, they needed that butt whoop. Because if they did, they'd be dead in jail. Butt whoopings kept a lot
Right.
of these guys out of prison or out the grave.
Right. I think and I agree, they have taken too much power away from parents.
Mm-hmm. And teachers,
And parents, aren't unified when it comes to, even if you don't want somebody disciplining your child,
right,
they should at least be able to come to you
right,
and give you information and be able to get in touch with you to let you know what's going on.
correct. That's absolutely correct. I mean, when I was going to school every year, I guess up until my high school year, they would send a little slip home and say, hey, are we able to paddle him? My mom put in big letters, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I would get paddled in school and then go home and get another one. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
they took that out of school, what they call it corporal punishment back then. But yeah, they sure did. And I'm thinking, well, why should you even have to ask? Once we drop our kids off to y'all are like the second parents. Y'all, and so if the kids are acting up, punish them, and then when they come home, we punish them. But they took that out of school. Right. Now you got teachers scared of these kids. I'm watching YouTube where kids up there fighting teachers, knocking them out. And then when one of them, she was a bigger teacher, the little girl was trying to fight her, and when she knocked the little girl down, then she gets in trouble for beating up on a kid, but she wasn't beating up on a kid. She was just defending herself. Because she told the little girl to turn the phone off. She took the phone from the little girl because she didn't want to turn the phone off. So the little girl got up and started swinging. So what is she supposed to do?
Exactly.
Same thing.
And you would never have that 30 years ago. You would have never had any stuff like that.
Never. Because them parents and grandparents come up to the school and whoop you in front of everybody, embarrass you. All it took was that one time to get your butt whooped in front of everybody, and you was good for the rest of the year.
And Sky, I know we're on limited time,
Mhm.
but I exactly wanted to address this one too.
Yes.
I don't think I think we need to do away with the street code of us having to support a business based on race.
I understand.
So if you are a person of color and you have a
Right.
business, people should be able to address you or support you based on customer service
Right.
and profit.
Correct.
Nothing else. I went to a black-owned business down here.
Hmm.
It was a little cookie spot. Now, the customer service was well and everything, but the prices was worse than inflation.
Good.
Why am I paying $40 for 6 cookies?
Woo. Man.
Now that's a little exaggerated, but you get my point.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you got a product that's priced higher than if I go somewhere over here, why should I? Oh, because you're a black business, I have to support you.
I get it, man. I don't try to look at color when I go into businesses because I would love to support black businesses. Again, I'm about to get married, so what we're trying to do is try to find a black photographer, black wedding coordinator. We try to do that. To help other black businesses. But like you said, not only it shouldn't be the color of your skin, but let me read your reviews. Don't come to me talking I got a business head. You ain't even on Google. You ain't got a website. You ain't got a business license. So I'm sorry. Well, come on, brother, man. No, this is business. This has nothing to do with social. This is business. So I agree with you. I really do.
Because the only color when it comes to business that should matter is green.
It's green. That's it. That is absolutely correct. That is you. I agree 100%.
Because you know what, Sky, with me, if you ain't on time, I can't tell you how many businesses there are, especially businesses of colors, that are not on time. Be on time. Don't put a sign on your shop that say open at 10 and then I'm there at 10:30 and you still close.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And I think a lot of it is, and don't get me wrong, because I like Rick Ross, I listen to him, but there's no such thing as a business anymore. Everything is a hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know the bad part about that?
The
definition of hustle means, right? You know what hustling really is.
Tell me, what's the definition?
The word hustle, and I try not to use this word. I'm really training myself not to use this word.
Right.
To hustle means that I get, I take advantage of you.
Right.
I hustle.
Right.
The only one that benefit from it is me.
Correct. Right.
So how's a hustle good for, like, if I'm selling something and I say I'm hustling, that means I'm taking advantage of you.
That's right. And you can care less about the product. You just trying to get the money. So you're right.
Exactly.
So a lot of people have to get out of that mind frame that every day I'm hustling, and do an actual business. Because in business, I was taught if you bring value to somebody, the money will come. Hustling, you're not bringing any value. You're just trying to get a quick buck. So, you can't take that DoorDash and Uber mentality and try to build $1 million business. For those guys that are making millions of dollars, they're not hustling every day. They're running a legit business with a system from top to bottom.
Right.
What me and you were looking for, whether we're buying shoes, shirts, food, cars, especially if it's black owned, I'm looking for the structure. How is everything being ran? Can I come back and get a refund? Can I come back and return something? How is our approach? Hello, how you doing? Or when I came in, everybody just ignored me until I was ready to spend money. Because that's the first thing I see with a lot of black businesses. I was in I think it might have been Columbia, Tennessee, or Spring Hill, and it was a furniture store ran by a black man. Nobody paid me attention until they felt like I was about to purchase something. They didn't greet me at the door, nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah,
know, and something else, man, that in that is appearance.
appearance.
Like I can't tell you, this goes for if you run a business or if you work at a
Right.
business. Presentation is everything.
Everything.
I'm gonna tell you, man, I was at work and I seen this brother, man, come in going for an interview. Now he had on beach shorts, he had on sandals, and he had on a white beater. And his hair was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, you can't represent or you can't dress any better. You know, going in for an interview and you can't dress any better.
I think the dressing represents how they feel about the job. You know, because if me and you was going to go and work at a law firm, there's no way in hell we would even think about wearing that. But whatever he was told about the position, he's like, oh, it's just who cares? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he cared enough about the value of the position to give a damn, and that's why he came the way he did. Because when I used to work at
Man,
McDonald's and fast food, people come in there in their pajamas and fill out applications. Like they hair all over their head, wouldn't brush their beard. I mean, none of that because they just felt like, hey, let's just fast food. Who gives a damn? You know? So yeah, so I can see your point.
yep. And so, man, I know we got a couple minutes before we go ahead and close this out. Is there anything else, man, you would like to plug in before we get going? Like, what's the next wrestling show? You guys got something coming up? Is it? I thought it was it the 20th?
Now it's the 23rd. It's what's coming up this Saturday in Lebanon. Top Rope Wrestling. Yeah. I was just in Illinois managing my group. Well, it's not my group. I'm just the VP of the group called CAI. And then this Saturday will be at Top Rope. And then the 30th will be back in Illinois. So yeah, I've been we in Crossville. Yeah, we was in Crossville, Illinois for SMPW. Yes. So if you
And so how many matches that do they have going on this Saturday coming up?
maybe five or six, something like that.
Man,
I was
for
wrestling
if there's anybody
13 one time. Huh?
is there if there's anybody in Tennessee that may have interest in going to that, where could they go or where could they go to get information to how to attend?
Well, it's at 945 West Bador Parkway, Lebanon, Tennessee, right? 37087. You can just go on Facebook and type in Top Rope Wrestling. It'll come up. Or if you get a hold of me, go to Facebook and type in Sky Black and then let me know. I'll give you the information or whoever you want to talk to. Or hell, if you even inspired to be a wrestler, contact me and I'll give you the people who you need to contact. I mean, you got No Limit Pro down in Tullahoma with Mike Cobb. I mean, you have a lot of people who's here that's willing to help people that wants to get into the industry or wants to know more about it.
Man, you know what, Sky? Man, I wanna. This has been absolutely fun.
Yeah,
Hopefully next week, man, we can get Rob on. But man, the time went by
oh yeah,
so quick. It don't even feel like it's been an hour, man. So this has been an absolute joy.
I enjoyed it.
Thank everybody for tuning in. The people that I'm still on TikTok, so I'm still on TikTok live. This will be on Sky Black's Facebook channel. It's on YouTube. It'll be on my Facebook channel. So you guys chime in, man. Let us know in the comments below some street codes that need to be changed in order for the black community to improve. We would like to hear from y'all. Sky, do you want to leave any last remarks before we sign off air?
Well, thanks for always inviting me to the Nashville Man Cave. I enjoy this. You know, I think the first thing that's going to help our community or any community is dialogue. It's talking about it. Open up, being honest, whether you agree or disagree. At least as a man, I know where you stand. Now, since I know where you stand, let's work on helping each other out and helping other folks and bring other people up. And I hope that that's what this podcast is here for. You are, I like what you're doing because, again, with my radio show and my stream, I'm here to help, here to bring value to people. I love what you're doing because you're here to help, you're here to bring value to people. And if they see what me, you, and Rob D are doing, hopefully that will make a change. Even if it's just in one person's life, that's what we're looking for, is to make a change.
Man, I couldn't agree more, man. That couldn't have been said any better. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Sky, till next week, y'all can catch us every Tuesday, noon, okay? You can catch us here every Tuesday, noon. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Peace, love. You guys have a great rest of the week.
Peace.